Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Reggie Regulus here, your friendly Dotloop trainer. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a listing loop, how to take that loop and then go ahead and send the documents that you want to send to your listing client, the seller, and then show you how it looks from the seller side, and then when the seller fills everything out, how it looks when it gets back to you. Now, today I will not be talking about templates. Already created a video on that. Want you to take a look at that. Actually, there are 3 videos. I believe there were 3 videos that I created for that. Make sure you look at that before you look at this one, unless you already know how to create a template. Today we're not going to create a template. Today I am going to go over a little bit of, give you a screen tour of Dotloop, show you a couple of things there, and then we're going to get right into the other part. So let's go ahead and get started, why don't we? First, what I want to do is go ahead and click on the plus sign. So I'm in my eEdge account, or I'm at my Keller Williams page here, and I'm in the eEdge control panel. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on the plus sign and go to Transaction Home. Transaction Home is going to take me to my transaction premium. We have the premium version here at Keller Williams, and what we want to go ahead and do is just show you a couple of things with that premium account. So first of all, we're looking at the home screen here of the My Transactions Premium. On the left here, you'll see where it says My Transactions Premium. Wherever you are within Dotloop, if you get lost or buried anywhere in Dotloop, which you shouldn't because it's very simple, but if you do, you can always click on My Transactions and it'll always bring you back to this home page. Let's go over some of these global icons. This first one here is called loops. That takes you to your loops. In this new Dotloop, a loop is a loop is a loop. So there's no offer loop or selling loop or buying loop. All those different loops that we had in the other Dotloop. A loop is a loop is a loop. A loop is an online transaction, right? You can think of it also as a file cabinet drawer, which you can put different files. The second one is a second global icon, task. You can assign tasks to yourself, to your client, to the other agent, to your co-agent if you're working on this on your listing or transaction with another person. The people global icon is the next one. The people global icon allows you to add people to your loop. So it could be your client, it could be the buyer's agent if you're doing a listing. It could be the listing agent if you're on the buyer side, the buying agent side. You can add contractors, appraisers, whoever you want to add to this transaction. You can add them to the transaction or the loop. The next one, templates. Templates, as I mentioned, we did discuss this in another video, but that is where you can set up your templates for the loops that you're going to create. And then this next one is My Account. If you click on My Account, what it's going to do is take you to the My Account section. There are a couple of things that I want to quickly show you here, so let's go over this. The first thing is under My Profile, you'll see you have the option here to add a picture. I put a penguin here, but you can put whatever you want here. It could be a picture of yourself or something that inspires you, and you'll see that up in your right corner here within Dotloop. So that's pretty cool. And then profile information, the name of the company that you're working with will be there. Brokerage and associations. Just go ahead and check and make sure that your company information is correct here. All right. So that's under profiles. Under settings, what you're able to do is set your preferences in terms of the kind of fonts you want, and it will show up here whatever you change this to here in terms of font style, color, and typeface. And you see the default one is already set. And then under personal information, go in this, make sure your information is correct. And then what you want to do as well is however you want your name to show up when you sign it, when it's signed or e-signed, go ahead and change that here. So you can put, you know, if you have a middle initial that you like to use, you can put that in there, or a full middle name, however you want to do it. Same thing under e-sign initials. You can change that to whatever you want. The email address will stay the same. You will want to put in your cell phone number, and whoever your carrier is. If it's not one of these 3, T-Mobile, Virgin, or Sprint, let me scroll up here to make sure you guys are seeing this. Okay. whoever your carrier is, you want to put them in. If it's not one of these, go ahead and put other, and then put the mobile phone number. That allows you to receive text messages of notifications. Make sure your time zone is correct. It's not always correct, so go ahead and make sure that's correct, because that will show on the signature, the time and date stamp, when something is e-signed from your system. Next one, notifications. Go to notifications. You're going to want to keep all of these checked. At the request of our MCA, she suggested that we not check this one, so you can go ahead and take that one off, but the rest of them you should keep checked. Okay? And then upgrade, nothing to do here because we have the premium account at Keller Williams, so we're all set with that. I'm going to use where I told you. You can click here and get back home, right? And it takes me back home. I could have gone to loops as well. That would have worked just as well. Okay, now let's go over this next line real quickly. Filter, we're not going to do that, but you can filter out your loops so you can see different types of loops. Activity log will give you an activity log. We're not going to go into that now, but what we will go into, you can sort your loops, so you can sort them by address, last updated, MLS number, purchase price, list date, all these here. So this is pretty cool that you can sort it by that, and you will see that it will change as you sort it. You can also change the view. This is in grid view now. If I scroll down, you can see the different loops, and you see I have pictures within the loops, so I'm going to show you how you can put the picture in. Best picture probably would be the listing itself or a picture of your client, something like that. But that's in grid view. If you switch views by clicking on this icon here, you can switch to list view. As you get more and more loops, you may want to use list view. Pretty cool. Within list view, you can also search for different listings. So let's say if I had 1789 Main Street, if I start typing in 789, or I'm sorry, 987, I know that one's here, 987, there you go. It brings up 987 Main Street. So I can begin searching for loops and then click on it to get into it. That's within the list view, okay, that you can do that kind of searching. All right, so that's a quick preview or screen tour of the Dotloop home page. I'm going to go back to default in terms of the search. And let's go ahead and create a loop. If you're in the grid view to create a loop, you click on this plus sign here. If you are in the list view, you just go ahead and click, I'm just going to scroll up, make sure everyone can see. You click on the create a loop icon. We're going to go back, and I'm going to take this 987 out of here so it shows me all of my loops. But we're going to go back to grid view. Okay, so within grid view, what we want to do, we're ready to create a loop. We're going to click on the plus sign. Okay, the first thing it does is it asks us for a name. You want to name it, this is a listing loop, right? You want to name it with the address, and that's going to help the office as well when you're submitting these for review to locate the transaction or the loop. So let's do it by address. We're going to do 765 Main Street, and that's in Bethlehem. Let's try it again. Type too fast there. Let's go back in. We're going to do it again, and didn't have to click on that. We're going to click on the plus sign, and let's try it again. 765 Main Street, Bethlehem, PA. And I'm going to also put in the name of the client. His name is Mike, lives here now. Okay, and then go ahead and I'm going to click on create loop. It's going to create my loop for me. All right, now the next thing, so here's my loop. Before I go to the next thing, there are 3 sections to your loop. The document section, the people section. Okay, so you see documents here. That's where you're going to house all your documents. People, anybody that is a part of the loop, that's what you're going to put there, people. And then after people, tasks. You can add tasks. So tasks, as I mentioned, I believe I mentioned, you can have your own tasks that are assigned to you, but you can also have tasks that are assigned to your client, tasks that are assigned to the other agent, and so on. Okay, or another agent in your office that may be a co-agent with you. Okay, so, but what we're going to do now, let's scroll back to the top of the loop. Now, what I'm about to show you, I always mention this in my class, what I'm about to show you is how I create my loops and get my loops going. You may want to do it in a different way, and that's fine. I do it this way because I have found it to be very efficient. All right, so let's go ahead and show you how I do that. The first thing that I do is go ahead into Edit Details. Okay, within Edit Details, it gives me a sheet that I can fill out, okay, and within this, the first thing that I can do, that I mentioned to you, is upload a photo. So I can go ahead and click on Upload Photo. It's going to allow me to browse my desktop or my computer to find that document or find that picture, and then I could go ahead and select that and make that picture a part of the loop. And you know where that shows up in the center of that loop when we were in grid view. Okay, we're not going to do that now, but that you could do that and put a picture of your client, or a picture slash photo of the listing, or whatever you decide to do. Next thing you want to do is answer this question: is this loop for a real estate transaction? Well, it is, and the type is sales slash purchase. So we're going to go ahead and click that. The loop status, we can keep it private or make it active. Let's go ahead and make it active in this case. It shows the people here. We're not going to add the people right here at this point. I'm going to show you where we're going to add everyone. But what we will do is go ahead and put in the address of the listing. So let's see, what was that address again? 765. Okay, so we're going to make that 765 Main Street. Okay, and that is going to be in Bethlehem, PA. Okay, and the zip code, let's go ahead and put that in, 18020. All right, and the county is Northampton. All right, so we're going to put that in as well. Now, what we could do is go ahead and fill out other things as we get the information. We can fill it out, but we don't have this information at this point. But what's nice is that if there is information that we fill out on our forms as we get it, on our documents, it will feed back into here, which becomes very important when we do our green sheet. It makes it easier for us to submit our green sheet. Okay, but that's all we're going to do here at this point. So what we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to go ahead and click on Save right here. Okay, click on Save. Okay, at the top it says Save Successful, so we know that that save was successful. Now, let's go ahead back to the loop. We're back at the loop now, and let's look at this loop. By the way, if you're a task-oriented person and you want to move the task section up, you can take this task section and move it up if you like. We're not going to move this section up, but you can click here and go to Move to Top, and it will move the task section to the top of your loop. So if you ever see a loop like that, that's all that's happened. So tasks would be at the top, documents, and then people. We're not going to do that today, so we're going to move this back to the bottom, right? Just so you know that. All right, so it would appear to you and make sense to add the documents first, but I have found that it's better to add the people first and to assign them roles. It just makes it easier when you're actually filling out the documents. So what I'm going to do is for Robert Demonstration, that is Robert Demonstration. I don't know why that switched. Let's go back. Robert Demonstration is the listing agent, and that's in this transaction, that's us. Let's go ahead and go here and search. Since we lost that, let's go back to search, which was 765 Main Street. I think that's the one. Nope. Let's see. Let's see if we can search for last updated or sort it that way. Yeah, there we go. 765 Main Street. So you see how that came in handy there. When I lost that loop, I knew that this was the one that I last updated. I meant to do that so I could show you that. All right, anyway, let's go back to 765 Main Street. Okay, so what we were going to do is go ahead and change the role of the Robert Demonstration, and Robert is the listing agent. So we're going to go ahead and put him in, and then we're going to add our seller. So I don't know why this is clicking all over the place, but we're going to go ahead and add our seller. So we're going to go to add person, and I'm going to type in his name. He's already in my system. If he wasn't, I could type his name and email address here, and it would add him to the system. So no big deal. It would add him on the fly, but he's already in there. So I'm going to start typing his name, and Mike, there he is. Mike lives here now. Go ahead and click that. Has his email address already because he's already in my system. And I'm going to go ahead and add his role. His role is he is a seller. So I'm going to click on that. Seller. Okay? I could send him an intro email to let him know that I'm going to be sending him documents. I don't think that's necessary unless you haven't talked to him at all, but you probably talked to him over the phone or in person, letting him know that you're going to send this to him at some point. So let's go ahead and click on add person. Adds him to the system. Okay? And let's go ahead and look at that. So we see here that Robert is added to the Mike is added to the system, and Mike is the seller. Okay? Pretty cool. All right? So that he's already in there. Now, the next thing we want to do is go ahead and add our documents. The documents that we want to add are the listing documents. Now, if you click on add document, it will display this screen. This screen is already displayed, or this section is already displayed. If we click it, it goes away. Click it again, it comes back. So it's a toggle switch. It's already open, so what we need to do is simply go to select from your templates. I'm going to go there, and again, if you haven't looked at the template video, go ahead and look at that so you understand this, how these were created. But here is a standard listing document template that I created. Click on that. It shows me all the forms that are part of it. These are indeed the forms that I need. I'm going to go ahead and click on select all. Now you guys know that there are more listing documents. I simply use these three because we're teaching today and we don't want to fill out a whole lot of documents for the sake of time. So go ahead and click on add documents. There we go. Alright, so we clicked on add documents, and you can see here that those three documents have been brought over into our loop. So 3 documents were copied. Okay, now I can get rid of this section here by either clicking on the X or clicking on add document. It closes that up, so now I have a cleaner view of all my documents. And now I want to go in and put in the information that I need. But before I do that, you see that we have a folder here. So the folder is housing these 3 documents, but the name is not a descriptive name. And by the way, you can close that folder up and then open it. So if you ever come and you don't see any information and you know you added information, check and make sure that the folder that you're looking at is open. So you can open it and close it. But I want to change the name of this folder. So what I want to do is go ahead to the right of where it says folder, click on the down arrow, and go ahead to rename. And then I'm going to delete the name that's there, and I'm going to call this original listing docs. Okay, you can call it whatever you want. I'm calling it original listing docs because I know at some point this listing is going to go under agreement. I'm going to get an offer for it, and when I get the offer, I want to create a section for the under agreement or offer documents, and so on. It may go under agreement more than once, and so I want to have my folders organized properly and named properly. So now we have original listing docs. Now I'm going to go ahead into each one, and let's see what I can do. Some information will already have been filled out for me, or I have done it previously because I created the template. But here's what's pretty cool. Because I put in my people first, it already has them here, and they are assigned. The signatures are assigned, so all I have to do is do assign. They're already there to be assigned. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, the consumer notice really doesn't have a whole lot for me to do, but you can see that Mike's name is there, and he can sign, and my information's here. Now I did this in the template part. My information's here. My license number's here, or Robert's license number is there, and I can go ahead and sign now. And some people don't like to sign at first. You don't have to. I choose to do that now. Confirm and sign. You can do it after you receive it back from your client. You don't have to do it now. I'm going to go ahead and click on save. Right? It tells me saved there, and then I'm going to go back to loop. Okay. And it has not been shared. Would I like to share it? Say no here, because it will share each document and your client will be annoyed because they'll have a bunch of separate documents. And plus, when they go to sign, when you group things together, it actually groups it for your client, so they just get one email with all the documents in that they have to sign. Now, we will separate out the seller's property disclosure from the other documents, but you'll see why in a moment. Okay, next we're going to go into the exclusive right to sell. Click on that. Okay, going to go ahead and assign that. All right, assign the signatures. And now we could fill out the information that wasn't filled out in the template. Now, ideally in the template you would have had the phone number and the fax number and all that already filled out. But the things that are different on each listing you can fill out. Now this, the property information, some of that was filled out for us, and the reason that that was done was because we did that under edit details. So if we had more information, like if we knew the listing price that we're going to list it at, we could have had that in there, and that would have been filled in here for us as well. So we would go ahead and fill in, you know, the other information. Of course, I'm not going to do all that now, but I'm going to, okay, let's see, we have that spelled wrong, residential. We're going to go ahead and fill out certain things, but you could go fill in whatever you needed to fill out, right? And then you could go ahead, let's just fill this out. You could also go ahead, you would put in the commission. Now some of this is filled in already, being a little humorous here, having 25% commission there, but you can go ahead and change that now. That was on the template. You can change that to whatever you'd like to change it to. And then go ahead and you can sign it again now. So I'm going to go ahead and initial this now, so when I get it back, I have a fully executed document. So I'm going to do sign now, confirm, right, and just go through and do each one. Alright, sign now, and keep going down, and sign now, and I'm just doing my initials at this point, right? And by the way, I didn't show you, but I will show you on the next one that I could have changed how I want my initials to look. So you are able to do that as well. So if you have like an iPad or something, you're able to go ahead or something with a stylus. You're able to go ahead and use your real signature. So that's pretty cool. But for now, we'll use this one, right? We'll use these initials, and then we will sign it right here. All right. So we're done with that piece. Notice that it says Dotloop verified. Can you guys see that? Let me just scroll. Hopefully everyone can see that. But it says Dotloop verified. It has the date and the time there. All right. So it's date and time stamp for us. We're going to go ahead and click on save. All right. All right. And then go ahead back to loop. We're not going to share it, right? We already talked about that. All right, and then the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to go into property disclosure. Really nothing for us to do in here, just want to show you something. So when we go into the property disclosure, we are going to assign it, so that is why we do that. And then it already has the address and our seller's name in there. The next thing that we're going to want to do is just take a look at it. Just want to show you there's no place really for you to sign, all right, but you see that there are fields there for your client to fill out. So I'm going to show you how to do that when we get to that document, okay, when we're sending it to our client. Okay, so do we want to save? Yes. We didn't really do anything, but we can go ahead and save it. And then the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and say no to share. Okay, and back to loop. All right, very good. So, see it switched back to that, but my mouse is a little active today. I'm going to go back to my loop here, and so now I am actually ready to share this loop. Simple as that, right? I don't want, or share the documents in the loop. I don't want to share all of them at one time, because the property disclosure actually is going to have different rights that I'm going to assign to my client than the other two documents. So I'm going to click on these two documents first and go ahead and click on share. Now when I get to share, you're going to see up top here that Robert demonstration, that's me, I can modify, but Mike lives here now, he can only view. That's how I want it, right? I don't want him to modify, and I don't want him to fill this out. Now you'll notice here it tells you what each one is. Under can view the document, sign and complete assigned fields. We didn't assign him any fields. Document will automatically be shared back once completed, so keep that in mind. Can fill out, can sign assigned fields, can edit document text, radio buttons, and checkboxes. Can sign assigned fields and document automatically shared, and can modify. They can actually modify their document and assign fields. Anyone who makes edits must reshare the document. Okay, so we want to leave this as can view for this document. So let's go ahead and click on share. Alright, and it tells us at the top, these documents have been shared, waiting on others. Okay, so we're done with that. We can go ahead and click on done. On the right here, it said 2 at first. Now it says 3, and it shows us who it's shared with. Now notice that it says shared with Northampton admin for Keller Williams in Northampton County. That is our MCA and also our file checker. So all of our documents are able to be viewed by them. That does not mean that you don't have to click submit for review when it's time to do that. It just means that they have access to these documents. Alright, so you always see the number 2 there, and under people you always see those two sections there in Northampton County. Okay, and now let's go ahead and uncheck these two and check the property disclosure and go ahead and share that. We can share that one of two ways. We can simply click on share here in the same row since we're just sharing one file, or we can click share up top here. So we're going to go ahead and click on share up top, and it's going to allow us to share this document next. Takes a moment. Now for this one, the reason I wanted to share it separately is because I want to allow Mike to actually modify this document. I'm sorry, fill out this document. So I'm going to go to can fill out. Okay, and so now Mike will be able to fill out those check boxes and the information that he needs to fill out in the seller's disclosure. So I'm going to go ahead and click on share, and if we scroll here so you guys can see that, you'll see that it says this document has been shared, waiting on others. Done. Now what do you notice about the document section? Have you noticed that something changed? Right here it says last updated by you. Alright, so that's how you know it's been sent out. It's last updated by you. Alright, so what we want to do now, let's go to the other side and see how these documents look to Mike. So let's see if I can get to that without going to 15 million things, and I did. Okay, so we sent them to Mike. Let's see if Mike got them, because he doesn't appear that he got them yet. So let's see. Let's click on inbox here, and there we go. So Mike got them. We updated our inbox, and Mike got 2 emails from us. The first email has 2 documents, consumer notice and the right to sell, and the second one has the seller's disclosure. So let's go ahead in here. This is what Mike would do. He would click. It tells him it came from Robert demonstration. We didn't write a note, so a regular note is there. If we had written a note, it would be replaced. It would replace this one that's here. It says, would you review, complete, and sign these documents? And then all he has to do is click on view documents. So Mike clicks on view documents, and he gets one email that has both documents, and he can just scroll through and do what he has to do. Right? He can read it and then sign it. Okay, it's taking a moment to come up here. Now once it's up, he has a couple of options. He can simply go to first field. Let's say he's already read this. He can go to first field and just go ahead and sign, or he can scroll through first and look at it, right? Read every page, or you could be on the phone with him going over it, which is fine as well. And then when he understands it, he can go ahead and go to first field. Okay, and there's only one field here, and he can sign by clicking here. Okay, and this is what I was explaining to you earlier. Let's say you spelled his name wrong or something. He can change he can put in the correct spelling of his name as well as the initials that he wants. Or he can go ahead and draw and put in his signature right here by drawing it. It'd be easier if he has a stylus or something as opposed to the mouse pointer that I have on a laptop, which is hard to draw. But if he has a stylus or something, he can put his signature in and draw it in that way. I'll go back to type and just go ahead and confirm and sign. Alright, so Mike has confirmed and signed. It's date and time stamped, and he can go to next field to see if there's another one. Okay, and it drops him down to the next document. So both of the documents are in one email, and he views them all at one time. So he could, again, he can scroll through first and read this listing contract, and you could be going over it on the phone with him. But if not, he can go ahead and click on, if he's already reviewed everything, just go to next field, and he can go ahead here and sign it by clicking on it. It says jump to next field. He can click on it, jump to next field. He can click on it. He should have done this one, right? I did two different sides, but that's okay. Go to next field, click on it, jump to next field. You see, so it's going to each one, so it's very hard for them to miss a field when they have this feature here, right? So they can simply keep jumping to the next field and fill in everything, and then it brings them to the signature line, and it's confirm signing, right? So the other ones were initials. This is a signature. Confirm signing. It's saving. Okay, and look, it gives him a notification. Congratulations. Robert Demonstration is working in the loop called, it has the loop name there, where you can collaborate with everyone. Sign in to check it out. So he can actually sign into the workspace, but he doesn't have to. He can just leave this screen now, and these documents have been sent back to his listing agent, who's Robert Demonstration, right? Go ahead and click on close there, and he can get out of this. He can go back to loop. So he is kind of in the loop now, but he can actually get out of this altogether by closing this right here, and he can go back to his email, see that he has another one there, and go into it from here. He could have gone into the loop. He would have seen the seller's disclosure right there as well. View document. Okay, and here we go. Now he has the seller's disclosure. You'll see that in a moment. So there's the seller's disclosure. If he clicks on go to first field, it's going to take him to each one that he needs to answer. So there's no reason for your client to miss a field, right? But they may. All right, but he can fill all this out. We're just going to do a couple, right? All right, so we're going to act like he did everything, but he could have gone to next field, next field, next field. So it would jump to each field like that. If he needs to explain, he can explain, and so on. You see, so it's jumping to every field. Let's say that he did everything and he initialed every page, so he would go through and initial every page here, right? All right, we're not going to do all that today. I'm just going to assume that he's done everything. I am done. I'm done. And like I said, he could go back to loop, and he would actually see the loop. He would have to sign in. We're not going to sign in at this point, but if he signed in, he could actually see the loop and everything. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and close out of that. And now let's go back and look at it from our side again, all right? So what I want to do is switch to that screen. And there we go. There is our screen, Robert Demonstration, the listing agent. And nothing has changed here, but why don't we just update this by going home and then coming back into our loop here, and let's see what's happened. Okay, here's our loop. We're going to go ahead and click back on it. Okay, and so we see here it says last updated by Mike. We see the number 3 is still there, but last updated by Mike. So we know that Mike has done something. Notice that these have changed to bold now. All right, and we only have a couple of minutes, guys, so just hang on. We can go into each one, consumer notice, and I would always suggest that you go in and check and make sure the signatures are there. Okay? If they're not, call your client, ask them to go back into the document and to add their signatures or whatever they've missed. Okay? Go back to loop. Okay, so now that's no longer bold. We go into exclusive right to sell. We would check that as well, right? Make sure everything's done. If it's not, we call our client, ask them to sign where they missed their signatures. They can simply go back into that link that we gave them, and they'll be back into the document so they can update it, do whatever else they need to do in terms of signing. And then property disclosure, well, we know that they didn't do everything here, so again, we would tell our client to go back in and finish that. They missed some things. Okay. All right. So let's go back to loop here, and there you have it. It is as simple as that. So we created a loop today. We went to edit details first. We then added our people. Then we created the documents. We grabbed them from a template that we had created before, and then we actually populated the document with information from the transaction that was pertinent to this transaction, sent it to our client, right? So we sent it over to our client, showed you from the client side how it looks, how simple that is for them to fill that out. They sent it back to us simply by completing it, and then we took a look at it and we saw that most of it was completed. What was not completed, we could have just told our client, hey, you missed something. They could go back in and complete that. Right, Reggie Regulus here, your friendly Dotloop trainer. Keep your eye out for some other videos where I'll discuss other issues and show you other things within the Dotloop. I hope that this was helpful for you. Have a great day. Bye.